Hello guys, welcome back. This is War and Peace, Volume 3, Chapter 18. So I think I might have mentioned it in my last video that you might have heard that there was some sort of cutoff, and that's because my memory ran out on my phone and I had to delete a couple of things, and now the issue has been resolved. And so I think I might have not been that clear on my last video, so which was about chapter 17. So in that chapter, I talked about Nicholas Rostov and him having to deliver a message that Prince Dolakurov had given him, so he could give that message to the emperor. And so Nicholas Rostov goes on a journey to deliver this message, and the weather is very foggy, and when he delivers the message, he ends up getting very confused, and he runs into Allied soldiers that have between the Russians and Austrians, and they have been attacking each other, and nobody even knows what is happening. And Nicholas Rostov is very confused at that point, and he just continues on his journey to Kutsov to deliver his message to find Kutsov and the emperor. Okay, so that was that for chapter 17. So when it comes to chapter 18, all right, you get the new overview of the battle situation. And so currently, right now, the French troops are battling the combined Austrian and Russian forces at the village of Prexin and Prexin Heights. So this is one of the major battles that have been taking place. And Nicholas Rostov right now, he continues his journey after being confused by Allied forces attacking each other. And when he gets to the village of Prexin, he ends up not really seeing anyone around. Most of the villagers are basically dead, and all you see is a couple of wounded soldiers and a lot of dead people in that village. And also, when he gets to that village, he's supposed to find Kutsov, and so he asks a fellow soldier on who or what happened to Kutsov and where is the emperor. And so any of the soldiers that answered him have no idea what's going on. They don't know who to talk to, they don't know who is in charge, and basically everybody is just confused and have no idea what to do. And so but the soldiers that do talk to Nicholas end up having two rumors being spread, and one rumor is that Kutsov is dead or he's wounded, and the other is the emperor is wounded, and he might also be dead too. And so when Nicholas hears this news, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what's true and what's false. So but his thoughts is that the Kutsov can't be dead because he's supposed to. He's supposed to. He's supposed to find him and the emperor. So Nicholas knows that these two people are supposed to be very important, so they cannot be dead, and he refuses to believe that. And so when he rides back around, and he tries to, trying to find the emperor and Kutsov, but obviously Kutsov is nowhere to be found. Is nowhere to be found, and he eventually does find the emperor, and when he finds the emperor is very depressed and sad, and when Nicholas tries to deliver his message, he ends up not doing it. He's just shocked and scared and very shy to see the emperor this way, and so he doesn't want to. So he ends up not giving the message due to his shyness, and which made him regret that later on. And so when Nicholas ends up hearing some more news about the soldiers around, and that it turns out that Kutsov is not dead, and he also finds out that Kutsov has been wounded, and it wasn't by has been wounded. Who has been wounded? Alright, actually no. It was Prince Andrew that was wounded. So like I said in the last chapter, Prince Andrew had been hit with a rock, but that's not the case. That rock turns out to be a cannonball, and so Prince Andrew is wounded, and so the soldiers that told Nicholas about this don't even know who Prince Andrew is, and they don't want to know. They can't even remember his name at all. And so Nicholas right now, he has lost his motivation. He didn't deliver the message, and now he's just riding around aimlessly, and just wondering what the hell he's going to do right now. And so when he rides around, he ends up finding the emperor, that is emperor again, and the emperor is outside, still being depressed, but what happens next is that one of the captains came over. So this captain is kind of so this captain comes over to the emperor, and he befriends the emperor, and he talks about that captain tries to basically cheers up the emperor. And so when they're talking and they're talking, Prince Andrew gets not Prince Andrew, sorry. Nicholas gets jealous, and so he immediately regrets not delivering that message and talking to the emperor first. And that's the regret I talked about before. And so then Nicholas, when he sees this scene, after watching it, he goes back, and he decides to look around more, and then he finds Dolokhov. So Dolokhov, remember, Dolokhov was that drunk guy who in the very first couple of chapters in the novel, like around I think chapter 5 or 6, where Dolokhov gets drunk and he gets demoted to a private or just a regular soldier, but after Dolokhov proved his achievements in another battle where the bridges were supposed to be blown up, and he was there, and it was also Nicholas's first battle. So this is the time where Dolokhov got promoted to an officer, and now that Dolokhov is an officer, he's busy off defending the troops from the French. He's become the officer, and he has some troops to command, and so Nicholas actually, he doesn't meet Dolokhov, but he hears stories that he's been struggling on the bridge, and as Nicholas rides more and more, he can hear the French cannonballs whizzing past him, and there are so many cannonballs that come whooshing past him, or just the sound of the cannonballs. And so when Nicholas is just riding around the battlefield and looks and hears those sounds, he instantly remembers his mom, and that his mom would be very terrified of him if she were to see that he's actually going at the reality of the battle that he's in right now. And so Nicholas Rostov has that moment, but instantly it goes away, and Nicholas Rostov is just it's trying to find some place to think about what he's doing, and he right now he has no idea. So he's no idea, and he's just riding around trying to get as much information as he can. And meanwhile you have the French troops and the Russian troops. All right, so the outcome of this battle is that Prexin Village and Prexin Heights are pretty much very close to each other, or they're in the same area, and there's a bridge that Prexin Village has, and on that bridge, it's the bridge Dolokhov's troops are trying to retreat, and they're being fired upon by French cannons, and Dolokhov is having a very tough time. And since a horse has been killed and has effectively stopped Dolokhov's troops, Dolokhov is basically very much in danger, and so Dolokhov, he wants, even though everybody's just dying or just basically stepping over each other's bodies, he continues to march towards the bridge. But at one point that couldn't be at that point it doesn't work anymore. Instead of getting off the bridge as fast as possible to the other side, they decide to jump off the bridge from the middle, and Dolokhov and his troops jump off, and they jump down to the river. Okay, so and that river is basically a big chunk of ice, and so during this battle, it's basically winter, and so the ponds and the rivers have all frozen. Everything's turned to ice, and it's snowy, and it's cold, and the fog is not fog. It's more like a snow, more like the snow, more like a small snowstorm, or the fact that it's very snowy that it probably can be considered fog, or it's just the conditions you can't see. So the weather is not good, and so when Dolokhov and his troops are in the water, they're bombarded with all the cannons that the French troops has, and the fate of Dolokhov's troops are undetermined, but Dolokhov and his troops probably considered dead, and at this point I think that it's reasonable to think that Dolokhov and his troops have all died at this point, and so I can't see any of these troops with Dolokhov surviving at all. But I'm not sure, because Dolokhov is probably he's one of the more I wouldn't say a major character, but I don't know if his character is written to be much more important. So I'm not sure if Dolokhov will survive, or if the author will make him survive, or the author will just kill him off at one point, like right now. And so that happens, and everything. So basically, the battle has been lost. Everybody has been retreating, and the French are slowly winning. So the battle that had started from 9 o'clock and had lasted until 5. So only a couple of hours had passed, and the French have already easily overtaken the Russian army, and the conditions of the battle are very unfavorable, and the retreat is like almost very impossible at this point, and even retreating is very tough for them, and even Kutuzov had to retreat, and it's been confirmed that Kutuzov is not dead, and only Prince Andrew has been wounded by a cannonball, and that nobody knows what is going on anymore, and all the commanders, all the generals are just in a very bad position, and maybe some of the generals, maybe some of the captains have been dead or are missing, and Nicholas, who's supposed to deliver a message, doesn't end up doing it because he's shy, and now he doesn't know what to do, and Dolokhov's troops have been pretty much destroyed. So it's safe to say that yeah, the French have won and Napoleon has won. Yeah, that's the end of the chapter. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.